Ay, 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 ay. The alarm went off and here I am. Hi, Cindy. How are you, honey? I hope you are feeling good. Hopefully, the weather is a little nicer by you. I know nice weather always lets you feel better, right? All right. So, welcome to Thursday. And tonight we are going to continue with the thoughtful wishes bundle. And as everybody knows, it is new to the new annual catalog. And you can purchase it as a stamp set and die bundle, or you can purchase it as a suite. And with the suite, you get this beautiful, thoughtful journey 6x6 designer series paper. And then there's another specialty designer series paper right here called Thoughtful Designs, and we're going to be using one of those tonight. And then there's also adhesive back pearls, and then of course your stamp set and your dies. So if you remember on Monday, oh, I don't even know what I did with my card because we created with it on Monday. And I also have used it for this month's craft box subscription. And there's still time if you'd like to sign up for it. You'll get the PDF and the make and takes. Hey, Hey, Kathy. I'm also this month going to include the hand sanitizer that will fit in this little holder. All right, along with designer series paper and the pearls. And just as to let you know, I collaborated on a YouTube collaboration today with some close to my heart makers who have now joined Stamping Up, and we collaborated because we were celebrating one of the girls. Thank you, Kathy. Hey, Margaret. We were celebrating one of the girls who just hit 1,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel, and we celebrated her. And if you click on my channel, you'll see I created this card for the collaboration. All the links to all the people who joined, their links will be in the description so you can hop from YouTube channel to YouTube channel if you'd like. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate it. Hey, Karen, how are you, honey? Hey, Casey. All right, so my bow fell off again. Okay, so tonight we're using, believe it or not, Cajun Craze. And we're going to make a nice simple card just using designer series paper and stamping our sentiment and a piece of designer series paper on the inside. Then I decided to step it up a little bit, and I blended some sky, and I blended the ground, and you can't really see, it's very, very light. But I also stamped in the Whisper White some little flowers, and then Memento for this big leaf, and then our sentiment. And the sentiment is from, let me just grab that stamp set, Something Fancy. I used the dies to the Something Fancy bundle of dies. And then I just stamped the same leaf in Cajun Craze on the inside. And then we just stepped it up a little bit more using that designer series paper that I mentioned. You can see the pretty leaves. This designer series paper, the Thoughtful Journey. And then our die cut with this ribbon is retired. It's the copper and natural ribbon that came in a combo pack. And I thought it was perfect for the Cajun Craze. And then I also actually used this die, that's the arrow, from the Adventurous Sky dies. And then I just added the flowers on the inside. Okay, so let's get started. I hope everybody's doing good. We've had rain on and off all day today, which I guess is good because it's very dry outside. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with, and this is the wrong one. I have all my paper set up here. Here we go. I think this is the one. We're going to start out with some basic white. And it is 11 by 4 1/4. And I scored it at 5 1/2. All right. So there's our card base. Thank you, Cindy. And then, of course, we're going to layer it up. You know me and my layers. And we're using Cajun Craze. It's a color that I really don't often use, but it works perfectly with the designer series paper. So we are going to add a matte layer of Cajun Craze, 5 1/4 by 4, and then a designer series paper that is 5 by 3 3/4. All right. So sorry I missed you today, Dew. It was one of those crazy days. Crazy days. The phone kept ringing. We're fighting with the Veterans Administration. And it was just a horrible day. Horrible. And my day started out really early. All right, so we matte layered our designer series paper. Yeah, the Cajun Craze is very beautiful, and I don't often use it. Oh, it rained by you too, huh, Karen? It is actually 59 here today. And let me just grab a piece of tape here. I'm just using some tape. I have to tape down this corner. I keep catching it on my arm. It was really cool today. I mean, I had to actually wear a sweatshirt outside. In the house, I have, short sleeves. But outside, I just had to throw that sweatshirt on. All right, so we have our designer series paper matted. And, oh, good. Yes, they do, Margaret. They certainly do. And I'm going to pull out my Cajun Craze stamp pad. And you can see it's crystallized. And we are going to just stamp Thinking of You Fondly. And I just want to make sure I remember. And we are going to just stamp this right here at the bottom. And hopefully I get it on here and it is straight. All right. So quick and easy, adding that sentiment. We can pull our card base back in. And we're just going to add some glue and add it to the front of my card. It's funny, I saw Julie Gilson, Stampin' Gala, her cards for tonight. And man, I want to watch her video. They're so pretty. All right, so there's the front of our card, quick and easy. Now I have some basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4, and I saved a piece of the designer series paper. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little bit of glue down the side, and we're going to attach this designer series paper That doesn't mean I want you guys to leave me. Hey, Cynthia. That's okay. Oh, I hope you're okay. All right, so, and this is what? An inch. It's an inch wide and 5 1/4 long. So let's just grab my scissors. I actually did put them away today, which is amazing. Now, I've been trying to get things done and start posting some of the stamp sets that I have available for sale. I just haven't had a chance. It's been one of those weeks. Hopefully this weekend. All right, so we're just going to take this and add it to the inside of our card. All right, so really quick and easy card. Hey, Sheila. Okay, so there is card number 1. This designer series paper is just beautiful. I love it. All right, so for the second card, we're just going to do things just a bit different. Okay, I just dropped my tag. But we are going to use the basic white 11 by 4 1/4. And again, we're going to score it at 5 1/2. And you don't have to keep track of the measurements. I will put them on my blog in the morning. All right. So there's our card base. Then I am going to use, let me make sure I have the right one, some Cajun Craze as my matte layer. And that's 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have some basic white that is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then what I did is I took a piece of copy paper, which is a whole nother story for me this week. My printer stopped working and I was on the phone with tech support for hours. Oh my goodness, it was driving me crazy. And all I did was cut a circle out to make a template, okay? And this is the 2 7/8 circle. And I cut my copy paper the same size as this piece of basic white, all right? And I am just going to line this up with that basic white piece. And we're just going to attach it. Now, I also added a little tiny bit of seal right on the back there so I can just adhere it to that basic white. Then I had this brilliant idea. I took the die from Adventurous Skies. You'll remember that cloud in the Adventurous Sky right here. Well, there's a die that goes with this cloud. And I die cut it. And I die cut it on Bubble Bath. And I am going to use this for my stencil, okay? So I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to grab a small little blending brush and my pool party. And we are going to add some ink. We're going to hold this stencil in place and we are going to add some pool party. And you can do it as dark or as light as you want. Now I'm just going to take it and shift it down a little bit. I'm just going to pull it over just a little bit more. All right. And then do it again. And I'm going to go close to the edge of the stencil because I want some of those clouds to show. But I want the clouds to be layer upon layer. All right. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. I finally was able to go and have them done. Then I'm going to move it down just a little bit more. And and add some more color. And I'm coming right to that stencil there. All right. So we're building up on our clouds. And I'm just going to grab my balmy blue. And then I'm going to turn it over. I was doing it this way. Whoops. Now I'm going to turn it over. And it shifted just a little there. And I'm going to put it down so it's in the opposite direction this time. And we're just going to add some more color. I am just going to lay this down. I'm going to close this up. And I'm going to pull out some Calypso coral. And I'm going to hold this template in place. And we're just going to add some Calypso coral to the ground. Just want to get it in here so it's not so perfect and it has some lines in it. All right. So that is, what did I say? Calypso coral. And then I'm going to take the Cajun Craze. And I'm going to hold this in place again. And I'm just going to add some of this Cajun Craze down here just to darken it up along this bottom edge. All right. So then we have our bottom layer here. If you don't have that die, I would just recommend taking a piece of scrap paper and actually just cutting just, some waves and use it just like that. All right, so now I'm going to just grab my balmy blue because I want a little bit of blue in the sky. I don't want it to be so green. So I'm just going to go over it a little with some balmy blue. So it takes away some of the whiteness of the clouds. All right. Okay, so there is our scene. The next thing I wanted to do was grab my Whisper White. And like I said, it is very, very light. You can just about see it. But I inked up this little stamp here. And I am just going to put some flowers. And it probably picked up some of the Calypso coral that I already used. Bad me, but that's okay. At least we can see them a little bit. All right. I forgot to clean my stamp off. So that's a dirty stamp. Better late than never. And then now we can lift this off to reveal our image. Okay? Yeah, definitely. All right, so I just want this to dry for a couple minutes. That Whisper White will take a minute or two to dry. So in the meantime, let's add some glue to our Cajun Craze layer. And I am going to add this to the front of the card. Oops. Glue shifted. Yes, my nails are new. They call it cat eye. I have no idea why. He used a magnet on them, and you can see silver right there, and then it's purple on that side. All right, so we have our card base. Now, I think this may be dry, so I am going to grab this big stalk of leaves, and I'm going to grab my memento, and we are going to ink this up with our memento. And we're going to just stamp this right here on the front of the card. And I'm going to I'm going to do it over here. This end piece here, I'm just going to come down to the end of my card. Just didn't want to drop it. All right, so we're just going to stamp it right over what we just did. Just like that. Easy peasy. And then we're going to just grab this. I want to just make sure it is dry. And because it is on basic white, I'm just going to put some seal on it instead of glue. And we're going to line this up right on the front of our card. All right, so there is that. Thanks, ladies. Hey, Nancy. All right, so let's close this up so I don't make a mess. I have a habit. And we are going to grab, like I said, this is from the Something Fancy stamp set and dies. It's actually the die. And it's also, it's also called Something Fancy Dies. Okay, and I did it in the Cajun Craze and the basic white. And I am going to pull my Cajun Craze stamp pad out again. And I am going to grab that Thinking of You Fondly again. And I'm just going to check this stamp. I think. All right. So we're going to just ink it up. I always get nervous when I have to stamp my sentiment. Not bad. All right. Close that up. And this time I am going to add a little bit of glue. I loved your card today, Nancy. Nancy Novak, who is in the chat right now, she also did the Close to My Heart collaboration. So you can visit her YouTube channel and leave her a little bit of love. She created a really pretty card today, and it's on her YouTube channel also, Nancy Novak. And it's Stamp and Shout, right, Nancy? All right, so here's that beautiful copper ribbon that is retired, ladies. And I am just going to tie a bow. I cut it a little short. And this ribbon is actually a little bit stiff. So you really have to Oh, you're getting storms again? Did you have anything last night, Karen? Because I know there were a lot of tornadoes in the area again. I mean, the center of the United States has been getting pounded. we were watching, we watch a YouTube channel, Ryan Hall. He was covering the tornadoes, and Tennessee was getting pounded. All right, so we have our card, we have our sentiment. I am just going to add some dimensionals to the back of our sentiment, just like that. And I am going to add this right to the front of the card, just so we can take up some of this white space. I'm going to lay it on here, just like that. And we're going to grab a glue dot. And I am going to add it right here on the side of my card. All right. Next, I grabbed one of these dragonflies from the Dragonfly Embellishments. We're going to just add that right there. And then I also have, now these are iridescent rhinestones, I believe that's what they're called. And it's only a little pack because it's what's left over from one of my craft boxes. And I'm just going to take some, we're just going to put 2 right up there in the corner. So there is the front of card 2. Okay. Yeah, Indianapolis was getting hit too. Oh my goodness. Oh, good. I'm glad you watched, Nancy. Thank you. All right, so what are we going to do for the inside? The inside, we're just going to do something easy. We have our matte layer that is 5 1/4 by 4, and then 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So we're going to take this basic white. I'm going to grab these little flowers again, and let's see, did I do them in Cajun? Oh, that's a lie. I didn't. I used this one. But instead of doing it in basic black, I grabbed my Cajun Craze. And we are going to ink up with Cajun Craze. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I stamped off and then stamped on, so it wasn't so dark. So we're going to grab our seal. And our Cajun Craze mat. And let's adhere it to the front of the card, inside of the card. Goodness gracious. It's been one of those days. Ay, ay, ay. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day. All right. So there is our second card. Pretty, right? The colors are just so pretty. So there's card number 2. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now for the third card. We just stepped it up a little bit more using more Designer Series paper. And I'm going to show you that up close. And it's very pretty. You can see it's got a little shine to it. And the colors for this Designer Series paper, the colors are really pretty. So I used this one for the Cajun Craze. Then this one looks like it's Petunia Pop. And then we have some either Misty Moonlight. and Mossy Meadow, and Pretty Peacock. So really pretty colors that match the designer series paper so perfectly. All right. So we're going to start again with basic white, but this time it's 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to score, and I scored it at 4 1/4. All right. So tonight's cards are all portrait, and I didn't realize it until I took my picture. Oh well. And then, of course, we are going to layer it up with some Cajun Craze. And this layer is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then our designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. Thank you, Karen. You're so sweet. The name of that paper is Thoughtful Designs, and it's item number 163317. Thoughtful Designs. So we're just going to add some glue to this designer series paper, and we're going to layer it up on our Cajun Craze. And hopefully I'm going to get it in here even. That looks good. And there is really no right or wrong or up or down to this paper. It's not really directional. All right. So now we're going to just take this layer and we're going to add it to the front of our card. Easy peasy. Even though this is stepped up a little bit more, it's still so simple. It's just layers of rectangles, right? Right, so there's our card base. Next, we're going to take some more Cajun Craze. Get that ruler. And this layer measures 4 by 2 3/4. And then I have that same designer series paper that I used on the first card. And this is 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And all we're going to do is adhere this to our Cajun Craze. All right. So we're just adding a mat to each of our designer series paper. Just like that. I'm going to grab some of this ribbon. And you know I don't like tying bows and wrapping ribbon, so I cheat. And I cut a little section. And then I grab my glue dots and add some glue dots to the ends. Right? And then I wrap it around, whoops, what I want it wrapped. Just makes it so much neater, and it's just so much easier for me. All right. So now that we have that wrapped, let's cut another length of ribbon. Hopefully I didn't do this one too short. It's really, this ribbon is like silky and it just slips and slides. So I'm just going to use my pokey tool to pull that through. Come on. I missed it. And I missed it again. So I'm just pulling that tail through. You stinker. Let me try it again. Like I said, it's like really slippery ribbon. So, ladies, is anybody doing anything special for Mother's Day? I know there has to be moms in the group, right, Do? Karen? Nancy? Oh, well, good night, Cindy. Thank you for joining us, honey. Oh, I'm sure it does. You enjoy and get a good night's rest. I hope you feel better in the morning. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we have our bow. Now I like to check my little loops, and if they're not even, we'll just pull it a little bit, and then we'll pull the tail, and just make sure that our loops are fairly even. Just pull our tails down, and then give them a trim. Just like that. All right, so now let's grab a, oh, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to leave that just like that. Let me grab a piece of scrap, because I didn't want to die cut my, and let me see where it is. Die cut my die and stamp on it because it's so thin. I knew I would make a mess of it, so I have it right here. And I'm going to grab some Cajun Craze. I guess I should be brave and just try it, but I don't want to make a mess of it while I'm doing my video. So we're just going to ink up I Appreciate You, and we're going to stamp it right here on this piece of scrap basic white. And then I'm going to take my die and I'm going to line it up. And you won't believe what I just did trying to close that stamp pad. Oh. And we're going to run this through. Today's one of those kind of days where you want to like say, Calgon, take me away. That's my day today. All right, so there it is. Much nicer than if I tried to stamp it on a pre-cut die, right? All right, so let's grab some dimensionals, and we're going to pop this layer up onto the front of the card. So we're just going to add our dimensionals. We don't want it to be sinking in the middle or sagging on the front of our card. So we're going to put one in each corner and one in the center. All right. Now we want to make sure we get this on. The card's opening the correct way. And we're going to lay this right on the center of the card. All right. Just like that. And it looks crooked, but it's because of my camera. Thanks, Cynthia. All right, so I die cut one of the sprigs. And I am going to just add a bit of glue, okay? And I'm going to just put it right over top of the ribbon. And I'm not going to add glue to the top. I want that to be a little on the looser side, all right? And then we're going to grab our glue dot. And I am going to just take a glue dot and I'm going to add it right to the bottom of this sprig. Whoops, it's not dry yet, so I'm going to actually use 2 glue dots. It's a little warm in here, so my glue dots are a little bit on the melty side. All right. And then I am going to take my ribbon and we're going to add it right to that glue dot. Now, my ribbon tonight is a little lower than the ribbon I did this afternoon. So we're going to take our sentiment, and now I'm going to take some mini dimensionals, and we're going to add some mini dimensionals to the back of our sentiment. And I am just going to slip this under that ribbon right here in this bottom space. All right. So now we have I Appreciate You. We're going to grab those gems again. This time I'm going to use, a large one in the upper corner and then a smaller one right underneath it again. And we're going to grab another one of those dragonflies. And I'm just going to stick it right there on the designer series paper. All right. Easy peasy. For the inside, I have 2 pieces of basic white. I'm just looking for my, sorry, I was looking for my ruler. And one is 5 1/4 by 4, and the other one is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And we are going to take the smaller of the 2, open up our Cajun Craze, and this is the one where I use the flowers, and I am going to stamp one bunch of flowers in the center, and then I'm just going to pull it down on either side, just so we have a nice border of flowers on the inside of our card. Let's grab some seal. Whoops. And one more corner. Let's layer these up. And then add some glue. I haven't decided on what I'm making tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be home. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll let you know in the morning if it's as crazy as it was today. But so I'll let you know in the morning what's happening. So here is card number 3. Here is card number 2. And then we have our nice simple card number 3. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Oh, thank you, ladies. Hit that like button on the way out, and I will let you know what's happening tomorrow. If you need anything from me, just send me a message. If you need a catalog, let me know. I'll put one in the mail to you, and I'll talk to everybody in the morning. Thanks for joining me. Have a great night. I hope the weather's good to you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. You're welcome, Sheila.